Okay. He made the turn. There he is. There were two cars. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Wow, that was bold. Coming right up to the front of the vehicle. Oh gosh. We are streaming. Okay. 1040. We see the suspect vehicle trying to get out of this situation. We saw the CHP unit pull right up to the front of that vehicle, and now he's off yet again, running parallel to the 110 freeway. I believe this possibly will be Figueroa, southbound here, south of the 105 freeway. So this is going to be in the South LA area. This is a stolen vehicle. The LA County Sheriff's Department Lakewood units were behind this guy. They were behind him for quite a little while. They eventually went into surveillance mode with the helicopter only because, as you can see, this person was driving rather recklessly, as like what we're witnessing now. He's currently under the 110, making that sharp right turn. May have an opportunity here to get back on the 110 freeway, which is the last freeway that we had him on. And sure enough, this will get him onto the 110. I believe this will put him onto the 110 South. Yep, South Harbor Freeway is what I'm hearing. So that's what he's on. You can see him there joining the lanes of the freeway, using the right lane currently to get by. But we have seen this guy use the gutter lane at times to get by if necessary. So that's what we're at now with this pursuit in South LA. You can see very high speeds. At one point, the Sheriff's Department was tracking him at 100 miles an hour. So we have seen this guy drive very erratically at very high speeds, had a number of close calls, and then we saw that last little interchange with a CHP unit where the CHP officer got right up to the front of that vehicle, and that's when the suspect took off yet again. Continuing here southbound 110 near the Carson Street exit. Again, this is going to be on the 110 freeway southbound. We have seen him on the 110. We also know that he was on the 91 freeway for a good stretch of time as well. That's when he first started this pursuit, was when he was closer to the Lakewood area, and now we find ourselves closer to the Carson area here on the southbound 110. So all Lakewood units are being asked to pull off of this pursuit. Now, this was initially a LA County Sheriff's Department pursuit, but now we have the CHP taking over because this is now on our California highways. The CHP is going to be better equipped to handle a pursuit on their highways. But you can see this guy really picking up speed. 100 miles an hour is what I'm still hearing. So definitely fits the bill. He does appear to be going a lot faster than the regular flow of traffic, using whatever lane he needs to get by. Continuing here on this southbound 110, approaching the Sepulveda Boulevard exit. 100 miles an hour, yep. Oh, coming up to a little bit of traffic there, weaving in and out of cars, weaving in and out of lanes around cars, just trying to get by. Coming up to the next exit coming up is going to be the Lomita Boulevard exit. You can see him there in that number 1 lane. And what you're not seeing are any units directly behind this guy because he is so erratic. But you can see that there's one not too far away, but keeping his distance somewhat. But for now, he's continuing southbound here on the 110. Really nothing in his way. Putting on his brakes though as he approaches the Gaffey Street exit. So this is going to be where it's going to come to an end. We see him setting up for a left-hand turn, and he's now making a left-hand turn. You see the San Pedro sign there coming into the San Pedro area. Coming up to some traffic though, just slowed down just in time. CHP units close behind. We're not going to see a pit maneuver here because of all of the other traffic that is on this street. It's a very tight street, and they obviously would not want to perform a pit maneuver when there are other people around. So they're going to wait until the suspect vehicle slows down. And at that point, we would also hopefully have a nice wide open street with not too many other cars around, and then they may possibly attempt to do a pit maneuver. What I also have heard is that spike strips have been authorized as well. So we understand that if necessary, they will use spike strips to try to slowly deflate the tires of the suspect's vehicle. Eastbound on 7th. So these are the streets in San Pedro, rejoining up here with one of the major streets. I believe it's going to be Gaffey. You can see him there stuck in a little bit of traffic, trying to get by. You can see him there now, wrong side of the road, trying to get by. Oh, wrong side of the road here. Oh, that was close with that white vehicle there, but he managed to avoid that collision. Continuing here on the numbered streets in San Pedro. Oh, just using the wrong side of the road there to get around that vehicle. A lot of close calls. It really is so nerve-wracking to see this guy drive. Again, this is a stolen vehicle suspect. It is a gray BMW. This is a pursuit that started in the Lakewood area. That's sheriff's territory. They stuck with it as long as they could until they sent it over to the California Highway Patrol, and the California Highway Patrol has been in pursuit ever since, making a northbound turn here. Okay, we see him there. The police helicopter lights still shining on this suspect. Oh, I saw him hit something there. Unclear what that was, but I saw something go flying. But he's continuing, so whatever it was nothing that stopped him. Okay, so this is interesting. He made a gentle turn there compared to what we've seen him do so far. So again, this is going to be in the San Pedro area. You have units coming from all directions trying to take this guy into custody. Another thing that I should mention is we have not heard about anybody else being in the car. So for now, we believe it's just going to be the driver. But time will tell when this pursuit comes to an end. We will see whether or not there is anybody else in the car. But for now, we believe it's just going to be one male suspect driving the stolen gray BMW. Putting on his brakes here. Okay, so that's a sharp turn there towards the right. Oh, he's just driving so fast on these streets. A lot of people could, people could be easily walking down these streets. It's a residential area, but he is not slowing down whatsoever. Again, this is going to be in the San Pedro area. Not too far from the Port Sacal Village, for those of you who are familiar with the area. On Minor Street is going to be the major street. Minor Street and 22nd Street are going to be some of the major streets here in the area as he makes a left-hand turn here. With the CHP still behind him, and we have the LA County Sheriff's helicopter light overhead as well. That's the light that you see there, the night sun. You can see that this is a residential area. We have a pedestrian there. Right at the corner, probably wondering what the heck is going on. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, just making such dangerous moves on streets that are obviously congested, busy residential streets. But really, he doesn't care. All he wants to do is get away. Obviously, this is a stolen vehicle suspect, and you can see that he's just trying to do whatever he can to avoid authorities. As I mentioned before, he was successful for a time, for about 2 minutes during the course of this pursuit when the sheriff's helicopter lost him, but fortunately they were able to regain sight of him, and then that's when the pursuit was on. Again, this is going to be in the residential streets of San Pedro. These are going to be the numbered streets, so Gaffey's going to be the closest major street, as well as 25th Street, so that's where you have all the numbered streets. So these are just some of the major streets that run here through San Pedro, but a lot of these streets that he's on right now are some of the smaller residential streets. Stuck behind a vehicle here that was moving a touch too slow for him, and he's actually slowing down his speeds somewhat as well here. So that's really interesting. We saw him go as much as 100 miles an hour at one point. So the fact that he has slowed down significantly is definitely some good news. It would be great to get ahead of him, put some spike strips out, or potentially get behind him and perform a pit maneuver. But for now, I'm not seeing any units directly behind the guy. But also the night sun is now shut off, or it looks like it's shut off at points. I'm not sure if perhaps that's a new tactic that they're trying to use to perhaps get him to think that he's no longer being pursued. But as I say that, I see the light shining upon him yet again. So again, this is going to be in a residential area. These are the numbered streets of San Pedro in the coastal area of San Pedro. 27th Street is one of the major streets through here, as well as south of Patton Avenue. Coming up to some traffic here, just squeezing by that other vehicle. He knows he's being pursued. He sees the night sun, even though he's not seeing any cop cars directly behind him. But what we don't know is where this guy lives. So perhaps this is an area that is familiar to him, and he's simply trying to get back home and perhaps run inside and take refuge and barricade himself inside. We obviously know that this is a stolen car, so the police will not be able to use the plates to figure out where this guy lives, because obviously those plates aren't his. So this is again a pursuit that started in the Lakewood Sheriff's area. They stayed with it until it got to about the 110, 105, and it was at that point that they turned it over to the California Highway Patrol, and the California Highway Patrol has been in pursuit ever since. I believe it's still the sheriff's helicopter, however, that is overhead with CHP units directly behind this suspect. Okay, slowing down a lot here. Yeah, so all these are residential areas. So I'm going to give you the bigger major streets. 25th Street is going to be a major street here. You see him here in like a park area. Just drove through that parking lot. Coming right under us here. So he's continuing to zigzag his way through residential streets here in San Pedro. This may actually be putting us into the next city over too, so I'll try to confirm whether or not we've made our way into Palos Verdes. We may actually be in Palos Verdes now. I believe we are, actually. This is a cul-de-sac is what I'm hearing, so we'll see what he does here. He doesn't have any units directly behind him, so he may be able to just U-turn and get out of this situation, but if there were any units close behind, this may have been it for him, but nope. No units directly behind him. Here they are. Here they are. The units are pulling up. We can see their lights beginning to shine. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the shot just for a second so we can see the cat and mouse game here. We see the suspect reversing. We see the CHP units getting closer. We've seen this before, though, and we saw what he did when he was cornered like this before. He simply U-turned and got away from authorities and continued the pursuit. But we see him here. He's in a cul-de-sac. He literally has nowhere to go. But he's trying. He's trying to maneuver this vehicle in whatever way he can to give himself whatever chance he has to continue to evade authorities. But you can see the situation here. It's a cul-de-sac. He's at the end of it. He can't U-turn. The cops are completely blocking the street. He's really got nowhere to go. To give you a better idea of where this is, it will be very close to Palos Verdes Drive. Not quite on Palos Verdes Drive, of course, because this is a smaller cul-de-sac. It may be Vista Del Mar, and I'll work to confirm that here in just a moment. We see the driver with his hands up. He's closing the door and appears to be following the commands, but no, he's not. He's just going to run. So he's running, still trying to evade authorities. I'm going to increase my light here so that we can continue to watch him as he... Oh, there we go. He just slipped behind this person's home. Continuing here in the brush area. He should be under that tree. We may see him come out here in just a moment. The police is asking if they still have eyes on him, but I personally have not seen him come out of this brush area, so that's likely where he's at. Oh, I think I see him running over here. Okay, so there he goes. Continuing running downhill. He's in a ravine. I'm using our FLIR technology here to try to increase my light a little bit to see if I can find him. I see him there. Okay, so it'll look a little red here, but it's because I'm using the infrared technology so we can continue to watch him as he continues to try to evade authorities. Okay, decreasing the red just there a touch, running into this home. Okay, so now he's running into this home here. Saw him enter that gate. Hopefully he doesn't have direct access to the home, but for now, we saw him go into that front patio of that home under that palm tree. So that's where we last saw him, and you see the police helicopter light overhead as well. They see him too, and I believe I see a light there too. Yeah, so that's where he's at. He can't pop out unless he goes via the backyard. We see that CHP unit that's pulling up is just on the backside of the house, so they will be able to surround this home and take this guy into custody. Hopefully, there is nobody inside other than that suspect, of course. He's on the east side of the house currently. Yeah, so he's still here. He's trying to duck and do whatever he can to hide, but the police know he's here. They have the house surrounded with ground units, and then you see the light overhead. The sheriff's helicopter overhead knows he's there as well. So he's, as I said before, he's really got nowhere to go. You see the authorities starting to approach from the backside of the house, and he's continuing to try to hide, though he has yet to pop out yet again. But that is currently where he's at, on this very corner house on this cul-de-sac street in the Palos Verdes area. Okay. You can see the officer there trying to climb up into the backyard of this home, but as you can see, it's quite the climb. So he's trying to do whatever he can to get access to that home where we last saw that stolen vehicle suspect. Oh, I believe I see somebody there, but that may be a resident. Yeah, that person looks like they're not trying to hide. So that definitely looks like it may be a resident of the home. I hope they're aware of what's going on, and we'll hopefully leave the residence while the police department continues to look for the stolen vehicle suspect in this person's backyard. They're looking for him. Yeah, so so it's going to be Paseo del Mar. So this is going to be one of the little residential streets off of Paseo del Mar. Yeah. Okay, let me pull the street. Okay, 10-4. There's a lot of little residential streets in this area, so it's difficult to tell exactly which one this is where it ended, but I can tell you that it's going to be near the major of Paseo del Mar here in the Palos Verdes area. But as soon as they take this guy into custody, we'll confirm the street. But you can see that the attention is still focused on this home, the very last home on this cul-de-sac street. We're hearing that the police are still looking for him, so they don't have eyes on him currently. But of course, you guys saw what we saw. He ran into this home. He ran into the backside of the home. But whether he made his way inside, that is still unclear. There clearly was a resident there. We saw the resident kind of just looking around, wondering what's happening in his own backyard, literally. Fortunately, we saw that person, and that person seemed to be okay. So you can see, though, that the suspect search continues here. We have officers surrounding this home. We have this group of officers in the front of the home. We have another group of officers in the rear of the home, as well as the police helicopter overhead. So at this point, it's just a game of hide and seek. We see officers running, though. They may be getting some information as to where he may be. Yeah, we see these officers running away from the home and back into the brush area. So let me increase my lights here. We can see them looking there with their flashlights. So they're actually not looking at the home anymore. They're looking at the grassy area next to the home. So they may believe that he may have been able to leave the home and is now running around in this area. They're notifying the surrounding agencies so that everyone is aware of what's going on and can send units over here to assist in this search that, as you can see, has now made its way away from the home and over to the grassy area adjacent to the home. But it looks like still no luck. They have still not found him. Personally, I did not see him leave the home. I saw him enter through the gate, and I did not see him exit. So it's unclear, though, if he may have gotten out from under our own nose. It's definitely a possibility, but the authorities have... Okay, I'm hearing they have... Yep, they got him now. I'm hearing that they have him in custody and he is being cooperative. But the dispatcher is still trying to figure out where. So we're going to listen to the scanner here to try to figure out exactly where they have suspect in custody.